Hi, this is János of Real World Audio, and I have a fantastic surprise. And I'm showing the surprise. I have just uploaded a sound sample, and this sound sample is from the old album of Vangelis, and it's the Fire Dance song. Yeah, that's the third song on the side A, and I'm showing it on YouTube. I gave it this title: Test Drive Your Audio System with Unsafe Music. Vangelis Odes Excerpt Fire Dance. And actually I got a little bit after the Fire Dance also the beginning of the next song, so you are getting a little bit more. So as of now this is unlisted, and I will publish it after I have published this video that I'm taking now, because this is the explanation for that. So what I did with this is that I have sorry about the noise, I have used my recorder, my Tascam DR5X. That was the one that I used to record, and I played the album on my system. And surprise surprise, because I have been talking about mono for so many videos now, I have played this stereo album with the mono cartridge. So this recording that you will hear now, this was done playing this stereo record with my mono cartridge. So you are getting also an immersion. What does it do when you play in mono, how that does impact the sound. And when I made the video, before I played it with my stereo cartridge as well, and then with the bands, and then I played with the mono. And actually playing with the mono, it had more of a hypnotic quality than with stereo. Even with stereo it was really amazing. So if you have a stereo system and you don't have a mono cartridge, don't cry. You will have an amazing experience if you have this album for at home. But when you play it with mono, it will be a different experience. And for those of you who have both mono and stereo playback systems, you can play around with it. This album will sound totally heart touching and heart rendering with either mono or stereo setup. And I just decided to give you guys the mono version because the mono playback has a focusing quality on the bass, so the dynamics and the bass impact is more pronounced in a mono playback mode. At least with this album I'm clearly getting that. And what else did I want to say? Oh, so actually I made this video because Gabor was commenting that he had this album, but the beginning of this album is badly recorded. And I just wanted to double check it before I answer his comment. So I went about and listened to it, and then I decided to record it and share it with you. And the beginning of this album is what I call, and what Larry at Real Hi-Fi Hub, he calls it as unsafe music. And what on earth is unsafe music? So when we go to high-end shows and go to friends' places, usually 99.9% of the time you will hear safe music being played, which is kind of like that laid back, quiet, very high recording quality music, something like Diana Krall or something like that. When it's relatively simple, a few instruments, a few, and they are really not pushing the complexity of the system, and they're not pushing the low level retrieval capacity. So you are getting just really high res music that essentially any system will sound spectacular if you play that kind of safe music on. Now the odds, this has actually different parts in it. So the majority of here that you are hearing, it is a lot of it is unsafe music, but towards the end there's that quieter part, and that's safe music. So it means that basically any stereo system can do justice with it and play it clearly. But in the beginning, most of it is what I consider as unsafe. So it means that it will test and push your system to the limits. And I would say give it a try, listen to it. I would say don't even try to listen to it on your cell phone. It will be probably garbage, or I don't know, I haven't tried it yet. I have just checked it out from the YouTube upload through my Grado headphones, and it's not bad, but it's a really faint shadow of what listening to it was. So I just listened to this album before I upload it to YouTube, so I have a very fresh comparison basis between the two, and really the YouTube version is really just a faint echo of what the original recording was. But listening through the headphones, I really can gauge here that when we are getting at the unsafe parts, so there's the crescendo and the dynamic peaks, especially the cymbals, and when there's too many voices in the beginning kicking in, then it starts to get a little bit confused, and that's not because the music material is confused, but because the system is unable to play it back correctly. And that's what gives us the impression that the record was badly mastered. However, my experience is that all of the Vangelis records are astonishingly well mastered, and they pose some parts pose like tremendous challenge for audio systems, and unless your system can ace all kinds of challenges, you are going to have problems, and most of us will think that the recording is badly mastered. And of course, also you can just do as well as the material allows. My copy, I got from Greece. This is a used copy, and after I got it, I ultrasound cleaned it several times. So I don't have a pristine version. I don't think this is an early pressing. This is just a generic pressing, but even in this condition, it sounds perfectly clean on my system, and really that beginning, it sounds like the heavens coming down. There's the Greek word catharsis, the cathartic experience. This is true catharsis on this album. So this album opens with the cathartic experience, and if your system is up to it, then you will receive it, and it is just really overwhelming, truly. And not because it's hard on your ears, but it's really heavy on your heart and on your soul. It's really for me, this was again, so when I listen to it every time, it's a really deep experience. I'm really lost for words for a long time after I listened to this album. So now I'm just trying to find my words, how to say something coherent about it. And so basically you are going to have luck with this album only if your system has a tremendous headroom. And I would say here the first limitation is the dynamic headroom for your phono stage. So you need an astonishing phono stage to play the intro of this album. If it has the slightest issues with headroom, slightest compression, slightest problem playing back high frequencies, and here you need um, an absolute clarity for the timing of the high frequencies. So if you have phase problems, if there are feedback loops, so if your system is based on heavy feedback, it will absolutely murder and butcher this album. So if you wanna play around and try out what's the difference between zero feedback and high feedback, this is an awesome test album, because with high feedback systems you are going to see or experience that this was badly recorded. It was not. It's just the system is unable to reproduce it, because it's tremendously hard to reproduce. It has just so much material coming, so much information coming, that the slightest compression, the slightest intermodulation, distortion, slightest phase error, slightest loop error in the feedback, it's going to totally mess it up. And that's why I put this downhill biker for the screen to accompany this video, because for your system playing this back will be like a downhill ride, and the slightest miscalculation and you are going to get full speed bumped into the nearest tree and smash your, not the face, but in this case your ears are going to get smashed. And if your system can do this, then basically you can bike through the forest and you have an amazing ride. And I did this slide because I used to do this a lot, downhill biking in a forest, and it's just an amazing experience. I did this with my buddy, and he just waited for me at the toughest parts of the forest ride, and he said that, János, I don't want to kill myself, I just wait for you to go to the bottom and then come back, and if you are not back within an hour, I'm going to call, you know, the rescue team, because I'm going to look for you, but I'm going to come down on foot, not with the bike. So basically this is the analogy of a really exhilarating downhill bike ride, listening to this track. And just for curiosity's sake, I listened to it in mono, and I publish it in mono so that you can get an experience what mono does, how it is like. And as I said, it gives more of a, I would say it helps your soul to travel further. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you will tune in and check this out on your system. I recommend to watch it on your main stereo system and see how it fares with it. If you try it on your computer speakers, don't expect much. Try it on your cell phone, don't expect much. Have good quality headphones and maybe an external DAC in your computer, then it will give you a decent impression. And as an addition, I have to say that I made this recording when the line AC conditions were kind of slightly below average, so that means that the energy content is slightly under average. So sometimes that it gets worse than what you hear now, but it can get way better than what is in this recording. And that's it. Please like, subscribe, have an amazing day. Bye bye.